Alright everyone, welcome to my config videos. So people in the past have asked me to do a config video, but I've never really got around to doing it. But I figured now that I've completed my config, I may as well show you guys. I want to start out by mentioning this is a modified version of one of my friends, so I don't know all the commands here, but I'm sure they make the game run better. So starting out with the binds, like these are the keys. I've got mouse wheel down to jump, which mouse wheel down jump for good for BOP, and then I've also got control to jump as well. So if you're on an auto BOP server or any server that's got auto BOP, it'll just allow you to jump continuously. Shift is bound to duck because I don't know, that's the way I've played since like Source. So my shift key is bound to crouch, and then space is bound to plus speed, which is Counter-Strike's way of saying to walk basically. For the mouse options, once again, I don't really know most of these. The only ones you should probably pay attention to and change yourself if you want is the sensitivity. So this will allow you to, it just changes sensitivity to, personal preference. For settings, once again, don't know most of these, but I know that FPS max at 0 makes it so you got unlimited, frame rate, I guess. So the default is default max is 300, but if set to 0, it'll just stop it. It'll stop it from limiting the game. Performance, do not know, but I'm sure they're useful. Rates and net, 128,000 for the rate. I believe that sets it so when you're on 128 tick servers like Civo, Faceit, ESEA, that'll set it so like the game runs better on 128 tick servers. So I think everyone should have a rate of that, I believe. Crosshair, so this is my crosshair obviously. If you want to just take my crosshair, just copy this over to your config and then whatnot. For here, this is just like a visual representation of what all the keypad binds do. So the only ones I really use here is smoke, flash, and grenade, the HE. But I don't know, I guess I've not really got used to these ones yet, so I can't fully use them without misbuying or doing something stupid. And then if you want to change the binds down here, just look in the table, see where it comes under, and then you can change it to what you want. Now these commands down here are more like specially made commands, I guess. Net graph on tab only makes it so when you press tab, that's the only time the net graph shows. So that's could be useful if you if you sort of get annoyed of having the net graph open all the time. Net graph on tabs, a useful sort of thing to have, and it, not having net graph open on videos, it kind of looks more professional and nice, I guess. Jump throw is so when you jump, it also throws. Well, when you press the button, it jump and throw for you. So in order to use that, you need to pull the pin out with the grenade and then hit the mouse button, and then it'll execute the command. Crosshair toggle, this makes it so your crosshair can go super big, which is useful for lining up grenades and whatnot. An AFK toggle makes it so if you want to go AFK for a couple of rounds, but you don't want to get booted by the server automatically, and make it so the game will think you're not AFK sort of. For sound, once again, don't know most of these. The only one you should probably pay attention to would be the volume here, and this is the master volume, I believe. And I'd set that to 0.3, which is sort of works my headset. And down here are the personal preferences. So close on buy, closes the buy menu once you bought a weapon. Auto switch set to 0, so when you walk over weapons, that's better than your current one. It doesn't automatically switch for you. Show teammate colours 2 is making the game show you the letters over the colours, so P for purple, O for orange, Y for yellow. Show loadout, in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, it'll always show what you've got, so your pistol, your rifle or whatever. That's nice to know what you've got at all times, mainly useful for grenades though, I'd say. And use opens binder menu. This stops it, so if you're in spawn trying to pick a weapon up or something, it won't open the bind menu and get in the way, because it could take a couple of tries to grab some off the floor. And finally clear, this just clears the console of everything it just put in there, and still makes it nice and clean. That's just sort of cleans it up. Right then, last but not least is the launch options for the game. I've got it set to 1920 by 1080 for when it launches. Frequency and refresh rate set to 144, but this depends on what monitor you've got and what it can output. Novid stops the video from loading up at the start. High sets it so the processor puts the game into high priority, so it's going to dedicate more processing power to it than background operations, which is good. Tickrate set to 128, so if you launch a private server and want to test something or whatnot, it sets the game to 128 tick. Then thread 6, this depends on how many processing threads you've got, so what processors you've got. If you've got a 4-core processor, set to 4, you've got a dual core, set to 2. Not sure what the rest of these commands do, to be honest, apart from exec autoexec, which launches my config. You know, just as a backup in case it doesn't auto execute. And yeah, that's about it. And to be honest, I copied these from a Reddit post, so once again I don't really know what half of these do, but I'm sure they make the game better. My game runs fine as is, so that's about it. Alright guys, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you want to know more, post in the comments and I'll try and answer them. And yeah, be sure to check out the downloads in the box below, and have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.